Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Kelly again, and I am back with another lesson on figurative language. Today, we are going to be learning about two new types of figurative language, onomatopoeia, try to say that 10 times quickly, and personification. So let's get started. So if you remember back to what we talked about figurative language before, figurative language is language or words or phrases that use an expression that means something different than the literal words mean. Okay, so it means something different. So the types of figurative language that we have learned about already are simile, which compares two unlike things and uses the words like or as. And the example they give here is, she is as busy as a bee. So it doesn't literally mean that the person is a bee. It means that bees are busy insects. They're very busy creatures, right? So they're referring to this person as saying she's as busy as a bee. It's comparing the person to the bee. We've also learned about metaphor, and a metaphor is a direct comparison of two unlike things. It does not use the words like or as. So when you use a metaphor, you're saying that one thing is another thing. And the metaphor they have here is, he is a chicken. And we know that when you call somebody a chicken, you don't literally mean that they are a chicken. You mean that they're afraid or they're scared, right? So that would be a metaphor. We've also talked about hyperbole, which is a big exaggeration, right? Used to make a point. It's something that could never happen in real life. So the hyperbole example they have here is, I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Well, if somebody said that, they would not literally mean that they would eat a horse. It's a figure of speech. It's figurative language. It's an expression that means I'm really, really, really hungry. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about two new types of figurative language, and those are personification, which is giving human qualities to something that is not a human, and onomatopoeia, which is an imitation of the sound associated with a word. So let's take a closer look at those. First, we have onomatopoeia, and that's a fun word to say. Onomatopoeia, and I always remember that one because I thought that's a fun word to say. I like the way that sounds. And onomatopoeia is a sound word. It's when the word's pronunciation imitates the sound that it's supposed to be. So, for example, when a dog barks, you hear woof, woof. There was a little woofing going on at my house earlier. I had to restart this video a few times. But the word woof sounds like what a dog barking sounds like. Ring. Now, this is like an old-fashioned phone from when Miss Kelly was a little girl. We had a rotary dial phone, but the phone would make a loud ring. That was the sound it made. It sounded like the word ring. The word crackle. You can almost hear a fire making, when you're listening to a fire, it almost makes a crackling sound. The word crackle sounds like the sound you hear from a fire. Buzz. The word buzz sounds like the noise that a bee makes when it's flying around, right? When you hear a bee, buzz, it makes a buzzing sound. Splash, right? If you throw a rock into a pond, it's going to make a splash sound. And think about fireworks. When fireworks go off, you hear bang, boom, right? Those are the sounds that you hear. So these words that represent those sounds are onomatopoeias. So onomatopoeias, again, represent sounds. And when you say or use an onomatopoeia, it sounds like the noise you're referring to. So somebody should kind of know what you mean by that. So like when you're thinking about the slamming of a door, right? Slam. You can almost hear that when the door, closes. Beep, beep. The sound of a car horn. Pop, 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 pop. The sound that popcorn makes. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Walking on leaves in the fall, it makes that crunch sound. I'm covering this one up. Let me move out of the way. A kitten purring. You can almost hear that purr. And vroom, vroom, the sound that a car makes as it speeds by. So all of these words are onomatopoeia. They are words that represent sounds. So let's take a look at some onomatopoeia being used in context. So the first sentence says, the clanging pots and pans woke the sleeping baby. The word clanging, clanging, clang, clang, clang. You can almost hear the pots and pans, right? Banging together. Bang would be an onomatopoeia too. The bacon sizzled in the hot pan. Sizzle. The word sizzle is onomatopoeia. I heard the tick-tock of the grandfather clock in the silence of the night. Tick-tock, tick-tock. So that word tick-tock, it imitates the sound that you would hear. An owl hooted in the distance as the sound echoed through the forest. Hoo, hoo. That's what an owl sounds like, right? And boom, the colorful firecrackers exploded in the night sky. The boom sound is the sound that the firecrackers or the fireworks would make when they're going off. So all of those words would be onomatopoeias. So now we're going to watch a little video with a fun song. Oh, there's some cars zooming by my house right now. We're going to watch a video that has a song about onomatopoeia.
Crash, bash, boom, pow. What was that sound? Rumble, growl, slurp, smack. Did you hear that? What's that? Onomatopoeia. Oink, neigh, woof, meow. What was that sound? Slap, flick, swoosh, whack. Did you hear that? What's that? Onomatopoeia. Their words imitate sounds. Listen, they are all around. Sniff, cough, chew, ow. What was that sound? Broom, honk, screech, crack. Did you hear that? What's that? Onomatopoeia. What's that? Onomatopoeia. What's that? Onomatopoeia. What's that?
Okay, now let's move on to personification. Personification is a type of figurative language where you give human qualities to things that are not humans, right? You give something that people could do or people would do, and you sort of give that to an object or an animal or a thing. So some examples of personification would be, the cupcake was calling my name. Now, that does not literally mean that the cupcake is calling my name, right? Hey, Miss Kelly. It means that the cupcake is very appealing. I want to eat it, right? It's kind of drawing me to it. The sun smiled down at me. That doesn't mean that the sun has a face. The sun does not have a face or a mouth to smile, but it means that the sun is shining. You might feel the warmth and the rays of the sun. And it kind of feels like the sun's happy and smiling down at you, right? The snowflakes danced across the winter sky. So snowflakes can't dance. We know that. But when you're watching snow, they kind of, they're coming down, they're falling. It almost looks like they're dancing. And the last one here is the flowers danced in the breeze. So when you're watching flowers, right, and it's windy or you see a breeze, the flowers kind of move together almost like they're a couple dancing. And these are expressions, right? These are when you're giving an object or a thing You're saying that it can do something that a person can do, and we know that that's not really true, but it helps to get your point across. And personification is easy to remember because it has the word person in it. So when you see personification, you see the word person, right? There's the word person, and you can think, oh, that's the one where it's something a person could do, right? So the toast jumped out. Well, toast doesn't have legs, right? It can't jump out of the toaster. But maybe if the toast comes out of the toaster really fast, it might look like the toaster jumped out on its own. So that expression, the toast jumped out of the toaster, it gives you the impression that it's kind of like boop, flying out. The wind whistled through the day. So we know that the wind cannot whistle. It's not a person, right? But the sound that the wind makes, you might hear that and say the wind is whistling, right? The wind is whistling through the trees. And it just helps to give you a better idea of what that is like. It makes it more interesting to read. So here are some examples of personification in sentences. The kite danced happily across the sky. Well, we know kites are not people. They can't dance. But if you watch a kite and it kind of moves, right, and maybe it kind of goes fast and slow, it might look like it's dancing. And it kind of gives, if you write that sentence, it gives me as the reader a picture of what that kite is doing. My computer refused to start. Well, the computers can do a lot, but they don't have brains. So the computer cannot decide, I'm not going to start today, right? I might use that expression because I'm frustrated and I'm angry. My computer refused to start. But it's just an expression. The fire alarm was yelling at us to get out of the building. Well, you know, for a fire drill, the fire alarm does not say, everybody get out. It's a sound, right? It signals us to get out of the building. It might feel like it's yelling at us, but of course, it's not a person. It can't yell at us. That expression just means it makes a really loud noise. Raindrops gently kissed my cheeks as I walked home in the rain. So that feeling of raindrops on your face might feel like little kisses, but we know rain is not a person, right? Raindrops cannot actually kiss your cheeks, but it might feel that way. The orange glow from the jack-o'-lanterns welcomed me home. Well, jack-o'-lantern's not a person. It can't say, welcome home. But when you see your jack-o'-lantern that you carved, right, and it's lit up and you know inside your house is nice and warm and cozy, right, it's that welcoming feeling, oh, I'm home, right? It's just an expression. It means that seeing the jack-o'-lanterns made you feel comfortable and made you feel, relieved to be at home. So here is a video from my favorite, The Bazillions, about personification.
Personification, personification, making something come alive with the words that you provide in situations. Personification, take something that you're saying and it acts just like a person. The flowers danced in the wind, but they don't dance even if they have the chance. But they move together like a dancer with a partner. It's a nice way of saying what the flowers were doing today. Personification, personification, making something come alive with the words that you provide in situations. Personification, take something that you're saying and it acts just like a person. The city I live in never sleeps, but who would have said that The city goes to bed, and I think you'll agree how big that bed would be, and it's a way to write down that there's always some people around. The wind sang through the trees, means that there was a breeze. The clock screams in my ear, the time to wake up is here. The sun smiled down at me, good day it's gonna be. This gray sweater is my friend, I guess I look good again. Personification, personification, making something come alive with the words that you provide in situations. Personification, take something that you're saying and it acts just like a person. Take something that you're saying and it acts just like a person.
Okay, so now that you've learned about personification and onomatopoeia, it is time to show what you know, what you learned. So, attached to this assignment, there is a Google form that you're going to complete to show what you know about personification and onomatopoeia. Now, remember, you can go back and watch this video as many times as you need. You can even go back to the beginning of the video where there was that slide that had the different types of figurative language. You could even pause the video on that slide if you wanted to, and that will give you a hint and help you with personification and onomatopoeia. So your teacher will have this posted under today's date in the classwork tab. And remember to click submit when you are finished. And if you have any questions, just post them under the assignment. Okay? It was great to see you guys again. I will see you soon. Bye.